everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today, we're working on a beautiful blue bow tie quilt. So you can make this big, small, whatever you like. We had another one of Pop's coworkers have a baby, and his name is Little Evan. They're calling him Baby Maxito. I think it's cute. And this one is for him. So I thought, we hadn't really done the bow tie before. We did a tiny little sample of it. I think it was the 2016 Christmas quilt. We did a wreath part, and it had a little bit of a bow tie sort of theme to it, but this is the first time we've ever put up a quilt together. So these end up being about 6.5-inch square blocks when done, right here. But you're gonna start off with 3.5s, a light and a dark, and then you decide which you want the bow tie to stand out in, whether you want the light bow tie or the dark bow tie. That's up to you. If you want the light bow tie, then of the light fabric, cut another 2 squares of 1.5 inches. And those are going to go in these little corners opposite on the dark squares, just like that. And then you have your bow tie. But if you wanted the light ones, or the dark ones instead, you do the same thing. You just cut an extra 1.5 of the dark, and you put it in the light corner, and you go across, and you got yourself a dark bow tie. So whatever's up to you. I just mixed and matched my blues. I had this light blue. It almost looks a little bit minty green, but it is a blue. It's a really, really light blue. Polka dot fabric. Had almost a yard of that, so I've been using it as my sashing, and I got a bit of strips ready for the border around the outside. And then there was some blue batiks, and then of course of these, most of you guys have seen all the other bits of most of my scrappy selection. So yeah, very excited to get this finished. We only got one more row. So that's 5 more bow ties to build, or 4 more bow ties because I've done this one. And we're going to show you how to do it. Very, very easy, okay? So we'll just work our way along the line. Okay, so of course it says, when I see that I have 2 of the light little squares, I know I need to put those 2 light ones off to the side and put the light tiny squares into the corners of where they need to go on my dark fabric, right in the corner. And you're going to sew from that little edge to that edge on the diagonal, okay? And then when you flip up, you got yourself your little corner piece. That's it. So you could trim this off, or you can keep them. Most of these I've kept in. It's such a little tiny bit of fabric. Nobody's it's better than wasting it. So I just tucked it in. Doesn't really matter to me. Did I do in that one too? Yeah, that one too. I think there was only 1 or 2 that I didn't tuck it in. And I'm like, well, what am I doing that for? That makes no sense. So I'm tucking it in. You do what you want to do. So 3.5-inch squares, 1.5-inch little square, and you make yourself a 6.5-inch bow tie, okay? And then these are 25. I've made 25 here, or we'll be making 25 here for this little quilt. And just think. And these sashings are 2 inches, and these little squares right here are 2 inches as well. But you could add whatever thickness you like. And then I still have another 2 inches for the outside with little blue squares that come all the way out to here. And then I have some more of this boundless blue right here. I could add another extra border or use it for the binding. So depending on if it was a good enough size, how big it turned out. Okay, so now that we got those 2 sewn with their little corners in, just like that, okay, long tail on that one. Okay, we just fold it up, and we can hit it with the iron to give it a press, or we can give it a little finger press. Okay, little finger press just like that. And then you want to line these 2 up both the same way. So you pop that on top, and you pop that on top. Okay, so they look the same. They're exactly the same. And then you just come and you sew down the one side where you're attaching, making sure you got one of your small corners that you just did, and one of your the shorter side of the blue, or the dark blue, and you're going to sew down that completely, all the way. Okay, there, and we'll do the same over on this side, making sure. Now you could easily clip that off. If you want to clip it up, clip it off. It hasn't bothered me, so I'm just trying to save a step. There we go. And then you just take those 2 and put them together, and you got yourself a bow tie. So cute and easy. So you can have one piece that looks like that, and another piece that looks just like that. They're going to be the same, but then you take this one and you flip it this way, and then that way you got your bow tie. See? and we just line those seams up, snuggle them together, put a little pin in, so you want to make sure it stays there. You want to stay on that the seam line between each other so they snuggle and they flip and flop. Don't sew over your pins. Pull it out a little bit so you're not hitting the pin at all. And there you go. And in no time at all, you got yourself a bunch of cute little bow ties. Like cute. Now don't forget to give them a press. We'll do the other 3 so we can get those all finished up here. This one's the dark, so I'm taking these tiny little dark squares and I'm putting them in the light in the corner, lining them up so they are exactly the way they need to be, right on this side right here and here, exactly where they need to be, right in there in the corner. If you need to draw a line, draw a line. I was just eyeballing it. It's only 1.5 inches. It didn't seem like it was that too much. Just kind of trying to keep it on the diagonal. And line one right up after the other. There we go. We'll just cut our threads. And then press that little dark corner straight up. Give it a little finger press. Same with this one. Fold the dark corner up. Give a little finger press, set them both out exactly on the table. I like building them one at a time, but that's just me. You can do whatever you like. But I'm a one at a timer when it comes to some of these things. Because I don't want to get confused. So easy to get confused sometimes. And then feed them in the same way, lining them up the same. Because they are going to look the same. Just one flips one way and one flips the other. There we go. And there we go. See? Perfect. Little blue bow tie. Very cute. We'll just put them together. Flip and flop those seams. And you think, oh, that seems a bit of a bulk in there, and that, yeah, I'm a long armor. It's not going to do much damage to, or not, it's not going to do any damage. Change that. But if you were doing this on your domestic machine, yeah, you would have a little bit more thickness in that zone for sure. But you can always just sew down on either line, either side of the line, 1/4 inch. There we go. Another cute little bow tie. All right, now we got 2 more to do, so let's get those done. I just mixed and matched light blues, dark blues, any kind of blues. It didn't matter. I just had whatever was in the handful of collection. I figured I used up some of the blues that were left over from the Blazing Star of 2017 quilt that we did for Patreon, and Shirley Ann was the winner of that one. And yeah, I just thought I'd use up a few of those little blues and a couple other blues I had in my stash and made this cute little quilt for Maxito, also known as Baby Evan. Alright, now line that up. Do the same. Flip that over, line it up, and you got easy peasy bow tie. That's a great way to do with scraps. You could do 2.5, you could do, oops, there we go, little got bunked under there. 2.5, 4.5, 6.5, 8.5, it doesn't matter, you know. There we go, just come the other way and see if we can get that to sew all the way down. There we go, much better. Always flip and flop. It's giving you a hard time on one side, go the other side. Don't get frustrated. There's always a way. There we go, see? Put that one together. That's a pretty one. I like those 2 little colors. And then for the sashing, like I said, I just had a lighter blue with a very light minty green blue with some darker blue for the corners, for the cornerstones. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Lovely. And of course, this beautiful little heart fabric on that. I thought that was super special. I really like that one, so I want to make sure to include that. Pop enjoys working with the dad now, so, well, now he's a dad. That's what I meant to say. So, you know, make something super pretty. And this one's just new, like just of the other day he was born. So brand spanking new, freshly hatched and everything. Can't wait to see a picture. And the ones from last week when were greatly received, well received. They were watching the video, appreciated it, made a comment. I was loving that. One was the receiver of the flip and flop, and the other one took a picture with their baby all cuddled in their car seat with the ones that had the, well, one I stitched up with teddy bears, and the other one I stitched up with, I want to make sure this is going the same way. I stitched up with, why can't I think of it? Kangaroo, sorry, duh, kangaroo. So one was teddy bears, one was kangaroo. Of those two baby hexagon quilts that we filmed. Yeah, it was lovely. Very, very cute. Very, very cute and super soft. And this one has a lovely medium sort of blue, but this is flannel. Flannel right there on the ironing board. This is the backing for this one. All right, now I've got these put together. Now I'm going to put the sashing in between. I only need 4 pieces because this is 5 blocks. You'll need one in the centers of each, and then you're going to have your sashing, or not your sashing, your border on the outside. Okay, or you can put a sashing and then a border. I mean, it's up to you. All right, so let's press these guys. I think that's already pressed. Let's press these 4 that we just made. Get on the go here. It has been very, very cold, but I dress really warm, so no one to worry about me. I get tucked right in. And you can have these so your ties were flipping and flopping. Maybe you wanted all 4 to go in the center or something like that, or whatever. But I mean, I'm just kind of, you know, doing this and doing that and figuring my stuff out here. So let's put that one there. Kind of have these ones all going the same way. Okay, so let's do that. Well, that's the same as that, so let's put that there. Yeah, I'm going to have some repeat colors, but that's okay. You know, just mixing and matching them. Trying to mix and match them. Let's take... All right, no, that's fine, I guess. All looks good. And then we have our little sashings here, which we would obviously make them 6.5 because the block is 6.5. So we just lay those right in our center bits. Okay. Here and here. And then we sew those that to that, that to that, that to that, that to that, and that to that, and then we sew them all together. Okay. So, or whichever way you want to work it, left to right, right to left, whatever makes you comfortable. Just have some fun. Okay, so we got all those to do. Let's scoot this over the way here. My pedal out. I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be all right. Okay, and then we'll add this to here. I'll try not to lose the sequence of where they were going. And here. And here. Now this would make a great lap quilt, a wheelchair quilt, a lovely baby quilt, even a nice little decoration for your table, you know, dog blankets, whatever. If you would just want to experiment and have some fun and got maybe some weird scrappy fabric, this is a good way to do something with it, and it looks pretty. Why not? Okay, do I want that there? No, I didn't want that one there. That one was there. That one was there. That one was there, and that one was there, and that one was there. Okay, there we go. So here and here to that. And then work our way along the other side. And if you feel you need to pin, then pin. I'm a rebel, you guys know that. Do I like that one there better? Now's the time you can change, right? So, but then that goes that way. Actually, you know what? I like that layout better. All right, we'll put that one there. Quick, before I change my mind. Oh, got too close to the edge there. Probably should have put my other foot on, but that's okay. Okay, so that's that 3. Then we'll put this one, and then the last one. And then we'll build our little row in between here, this one right here, where we put our little cornerstones in. And then the bottom sashing of the block. We're going to build it out as one long strip, and then attach it. Okay, and then here, flip this up on there. So we have our row complete. We'll give that a little press. Okay, let's do that there. And then let's get this little piece together that we need to do on the inside here, which is here and here. And we'll just build it out. So every one of these gets one of these on the end, except for one. Okay, so let's do that now. Make it easier for Pop in the editing here. He's had a very busy week, so I'll try and make things as easier as possible on him, especially in the editing department. Okay, and one more. Oh, looks so pretty. It looks really pretty. I love the blues. You got to mix the blues, you know. You don't always have to use the same color, but, you know, you can be a little adventurous. Pinks, yellow, whites, green, blues, purples. Rainbow color, make a rainbow. Every color, or 2 colors, you make 3 colors of the same, of the same thing, or you variegate it from, you got red and dark reds, and then reds and medium reds, and reds and light reds, and then off to the pinks, and only limitation is your imagination. All right, and then we're just going to add those to each side of a plane. So we get that little blue square right in the center. Okay, so we can line this one up here and do that just like that. And feed it right underneath the machine. Okay, and then same with this one. We'll add it right onto here and feed it underneath the machine. Okay, that's building our little strip faster here. Break the thread. Break the thread. There we go. And that gets put right in there. And then that's our beautiful quilt with the little sashing on the side. So we're just going to press these 2 real quick here, and then we'll get them pinned. Oops. There we go. Getting threads all over the flannel. That's okay. I can pick them all off. I got a lint brush. I got a lint brush. Okay, and we'll press these. Of course, we want to push that dark to the inside if we can. Sometimes it's not always going to work that way, but we can try. Okay, now we need to pin this to 2 sides. We need to pin it first to this side, or first to this side and then that side. So either way, but this little section has to get in between. So you do whatever you like. This is a good size. What's it, 36.5 by like 42? If you were to just leave it like this. And of course your decision to add as much sashing borders as you go along is completely up to you. So I'll add it to this piece first, the little piece. And I'm going to pin at every little intersection here, okay? Because I want to make sure it stays nice and snug. Okay. Oh, I want to put that to the inside. I don't want those dark colors going to the outside, because you might see a little shadow effect with that darker blue against that lighter blue. I know it may not be a big deal for some people, but you just kind of want to prevent any of that if you can. Some of the really good quality cottons, you don't really have to worry about that too much. It's the more of the, you know, the blends, the polyester cotton blends, the, you know, the questionable fabrics, you're not quite sure where it came from. But you do want to pin those seams It makes it nice and pretty. It looks nice and exact where it should be, and nothing to deter from the eye to think that, oh, something is off there, or, you know, or that's missing by 1/4 of an inch or something. Okay, come close to the pin, take it out. Most times you can actually pin in a way on an angle that you don't have to take your pins out as you go along. Just take them out as you're done. But it depends on the length of the pin. I should have flipped that the other way. Oopsies. Okay. Just leave a little stack down here. So I can just get it right when I need him. Line this up all the way on the edge here. Should get it all the way to the edge. And everything should be nice and even. Okay, and here. And then we'll give that another little quick press before we add it to the bigger section of the bow ties. Bigger section of the bow ties. Very cute. It's a cute little block. Easy peasy block. You know, if you got a couple of, what is it, little charm pack or something like that, you could easily do that. You can make yourself a little bow tie bag. Lots of fun things. There we go. Just give that a little heat loving away. All right, there we go. And now we're going to pin these two together, and that makes a beautiful little lap quilt. And we're going to pin again on these little intersections here. Of course, I'm trying to flip to that dark side. I don't really want any of that lighter fabric to be seen, or the dark fabric to be seen on the light fabric. Okay, and then those little crucial intersections. Snuggling the seams. You can feel it, you know when you have them up against each other. Okay. Sometimes you don't have, you just have to put one on both sides that it's lining up well enough, but this one I'm making sure I'm putting it on both sides. Even if you had a bigger square, I'd probably still be putting them in on both sides. This is only a 2-inch square, but still. Even that little bit off on the eye is going to deter. We don't want that. We put a lot of work into this. We've already cut it and sewn it together. We want to be proud of all the hard work we've done to make this little munchkin a little quilt. All right, so let's put that there. Got it all pinned, ready to rock. Just sew on down. It's been cold here, but it's been even colder in Winnipeg and way up north, and wind chills of feeling like 50 and 60. It's like, what the? No thanks, man. No thanks. Dealing with what I got, I'm good with that. I've had 36, minus 38, minus... I think that was the lowest or highest, depending on how you're looking at it. The lowest temperature that we dropped to was the minus 38, and that was with the wind chill. So. All right, now we get to give that a little press, and then you can see if you were to add nothing except for just like a little your binding, your quilting and your binding, what it would look like. Okay. Oops, left our pins in. A couple of pins in. Whoopsies. More? Nope. You always want to make your sashing the same size as your block when you're doing something like this. So if your block is 6.5, you make your sashing 6.5, okay? So there, isn't that cute? It's beautiful. Even this right here would be 37 by 36.5, okay? So easy peasy, lovely, lovely little quilt. So now what I want to do is take my two little shorter strips because I've added to the little squares to the longer strips because I knew the length of the 5 was going to be the 36.5. So now I know that this is 37. I need to do 37 across here, and then that should be able to add up with my little squares that I put on the outside here, make that last little sashing of the border. Border sashing. There we go. Across there. There we go. So yeah, if we go 37, cut that, sew it here and here, attach this to this, that to that, and this to there, we're done. Yay! Okay, so 37. All right, let's do that. Move these over just a smidge. Get our little ruler. Move this down so we're not wasting anything. It's almost square. Almost square. And then down here, there's 37 there. There. Take this to here. And take that one to the far end. Okay, we'll sew those two on, okay? Put one on one corner, one on the other, and then one right in the middle. And you should be okay. I would think you'd be all right. Okay, let's do that with the other side so we can get it all going here. Oops, need another pin. Oopsies. Okay. All right, perfect. And with any project, when you're adding anything like this, a border, sashing, anything like that, when you're trying to do a final product count, or project count, not product, I don't know where that came from, you want to make sure you're doing the same measurement here, the midway, and at the end. And if they happen to be a little slightly different, then just do the average of all 3 of them. And then that way you know, as you're going border to border and border to border, you're squaring it up as it's going along and not getting any, you know, sew-alongs, as some people like to call them, little sew-alongs. All right, so let's add those 2, and then we'll add the other side 2 bits, and we'll go from there. And like I said, I have another big chunk of this darker blue part. We could add another little bit around it to see if it needed it, but I don't think it does. I think it's a great size. Always stop with your needle down. That way when you do shifty things like I just did, you're not shifting it off, you're not yanking it out of position. You know, when your machine, when it takes your foot off the pedal, the needle stays down in the project. I was just going to do this in blue and whites, but I'm like, yeah, no, I like all the mix of blues. Let's do that. Let's do the mix of blues. I think it would look pretty. All right, so that's one side. Let's get the other side done, and then we will pin the other guys. Okay, let's just shift that up just a little bit there. Okay. We're still going to be working on our Dresden flower patch. That's for tomorrow's live stream, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we can't wait to see you guys there. Got all the colors cut and all the little Dresden parts sewn together. I'm very excited to make progress on that. It's a very beautiful quilt. There we go. All right, so we'll just press those little bits there to give them a nice straight, clean edge, and we'll pin our last little 2 sides there. There we go. Lovely how it ties it all together. Nice with that little sashing. That's what I thought. If you can just keep your sashing the same and your little cornerstones the same, your squares on the inside could be all mix and match and crazy like. It's the sashing and the cornerstones that's going to tie it all together. And of course the consistent, you know, whether you're doing consistent color or, you know, just a bank of color, whether it's blues and light blues or something like that. Oops, that one fell off. Now, if my math was correct, should be able just to pin this and stitch on. Okay, let's do one at a time here. Put another extra pin in here on this time around. I'm just going to flip this and lining up this, definitely a little crucial corner here with those seams. Okay, and then go all the way to the other side. Did I make that wrong? No, it should be good. Oh, you know, I think, no, I'm fine. I think I'm fine. It's all fitting anyways at this point. It's 5 by 5, so it should pretty much, like I say, pretty much be squarish. Squarish! All right, let's do this side. Lining up that little crucial seam so we get that nice little pop square on it. And then here. And a couple in between, just to keep it all together. Now, if I wanted to give this a nice soft edge to it, I could quilt it up, but make sure as I was quilting it up, leaving a big chunk all the way around. That way I can just do a flip and stitch with the binding. Flip then the back to the front, and away we go. Nice and soft, and you can give it like 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever it is that you're interested in doing, or how much fabric you have for your backing. We'll see how I get it on the long arm. Okay, there we go. Oh, it's pretty colors. Oh, pretty colors. Very nice. Okay, oops, we'll put this on the other side because all the pins are on the other side. So these two on, and weekend project almost complete. Check. Move that up a little bit. Trying to keep those two edges nice together as they're riding along, nice and even. That out of the way. That's one side. We had another pin in there. Yes, we did. And then we'll just do this side. I think we got a big gap in there, so we'll put another pin in there just to be on the safe side. I don't want to have to fight with the gap. On the gap. Okay, and there we go. And same with here. Do another one over on this side. Okay, now that side. Now, if you wanted this to be bigger and you just had this as the centerpiece, you could build more of these squares, these bow tie squares, and start building out again. And do a row all the way around as if it was a border. And then do another row of border sashing, and then another border. You know, the options are endless. You could just keep building this out and building this out and building this out. Maybe that's how you bust your scraps. You make a center color because that's the most you have of, and then you start building on the outside, and as you're going all the way around. Do light to darks. Center all the way out. Work it across on an angle. Many, many options. All right, now let's give that a press. And that's this cute little lappy quilt done. Beautiful. Oh, love the blues. Love the blues. It's looking so pretty. Nice way to bust my scraps too. And use up little bits left over from a kit that I really wasn't sure I was going to do with. So now I know. Put it into other quilts. Make it pretty. Make it special. And here's hoping it is as loved as much as I had putting together. And cutting all the fabrics up and picking all the fabrics out. There we go. Very lovely. Very, very lovely. Perfect. And that is the blue bow tie quilt. Very nice. Press that down there. Now, like I say, you could easily bulk it out a little bit more with some fabric. Got a nice dark blue here. Put another, 6-inch border or something like that. Or if you just wanted to add a big chunk at the top, a big chunk at the bottom to make it a nice long quilt, it's completely up to you. All right, thanks everybody for liking, watching, and subscribing. We greatly appreciate it here at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon and our live stream tomorrow on Saturday, 1 p.m. Thanks everybody. Big hugs from us. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you.